All right, I think. All right, we're gonna get started here with Golden Globe predictions. The Golden Globe announcements for nominations come out tomorrow morning, and yeah, we had some head scratchers this morning at the Screen Actors Guild nominations. So we're hoping the Golden Globe nominations come through a little clearer and a little easier this year. I feel fairly confident on a lot of these predictions. Not all of them, but definitely on some of them, I'm feeling a little more confident than I did on with a few uh, the day before. Some of those paid off, like The Big Short getting in for Screen Actors Guild Ensemble, and Bryan Cranston paid off. Um, the shoot, what's her name? Rachel McAdams. That paid off too. However, I overestimated like Hateful Eight, way overestimated Joy, way overestimated The Revenant. No, I didn't actually. I just had it one more. Sorry, I was thinking of the wrong film. What was I thinking of? I can't remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. Steve Jobs. That's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of. Anyways, that being out of the way, let's see. We're going to start from the bottom this time. We're going to move up, starting with the animated feature. Let's see. They also have, I should say, at the Globes here, they do have a best score nomination, and as well as a best original song. I have no idea how the songs are going to go. They always go way off the track here at the Globes with the best original song nominations. Like maybe, I think last year maybe one or two got into the actual Oscars. So yeah, we're gonna have to uh, take a pretty a ho hum on who they nominate here. And the same usually goes with. So let me look this up here with the original score prediction or nominations here at the Globes. Um, let's see. I'll have to look up because I remember from last year. I think there were again maybe one or two um, that got more than past Globes for who got into Best Original Score. Yeah, it was three. Okay, so Theory of Everything, Imitation Game, and Interstellar were the three here. Gone Girl and Birdman got included as well here at Globes. But I'm thinking here for predictions, probably some of the more obvious choices. Hateful Eight, I think we get in there for Ennio Morricone score. I'm thinking Star Wars will probably get a nod if they've seen it, and I think they have. I think they have to one degree or another. I think there's a few screenings going on, and wait, actually, no, wait, never mind. I take that back. They said no screenings. That's right. For critics groups at least. So I'm thinking Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guild, all those are probably not included, or are included in that no critics thing. So I'm going to take that back. No Star Wars. Probably Bridge of Spies I'm seeing getting in there. Carol, I think I'm going to put Carol in there to be nominated for original score. I'm thinking maybe Spotlight has a chance to get in there too. The Revenant has a shot. The Martian has a shot. Let's see here, what else? Brooklyn maybe has a little bit of a shot. The Danish Girl has a shot. That's Alexander Desplat, who I don't know if he's ever won the Globe for original score, but he's been nominated many times. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking Carol. I'm going to confidently say Carol gets nominated. Bridge of Spies gets nominated. Let's see here. What did I say? I totally forgot now. Uh, Hateful Eight. There we go. There's three. I'm thinking maybe Inside Out might get in for score too. I believe. Okay, I'm not going to look it up. I believe though that Giacchino, who did the score for Up a few years ago and won the Oscar for it, I believe he also won the Golden Globe here. So I'm those four. Let's throw in. I'm going to say Carol. If I haven't already. Did I say Carol already? Okay, let me name them off one more time just so I don't confuse myself here. Bridge of Spies, Carol, Inside Out, the Hateful Eight, and I don't have these in for official predictions here. So Inside Out. Okay, I can't remember. Forget it. Jump past that. Let's go on. Best animated feature. All right. As far as these predictions go, I'm thinking most of the time they go for definitely the more highbrow studio stuff. I think with few exceptions. I think one last year was The Wind Rises, or that was last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember now. I still can't remember. Anyways, but this year I'm having Inside Out in there for the top spot, Anomalisa in second place, Good Dinosaur in third place, Peanuts Movie in fourth, and Shaun the Sheep in fifth. So, yeah, and having only seen Inside Out, which I really, really enjoyed a lot, very great film. I think that's easily going to be the winner here. Also for Oscars, but yeah, who's counting yet? Over to screenplay, and here's the thing: if you're uninitiated in the Globes sphere here, as far as how they work nominations, um, they have for Best Picture, Actor, and Actress, and those are for leading roles. They have a split between drama over here and comedy or musical over here. They do not do that for screenplay or director or for any of the supporting races, which is odd. And sometimes I wish that, but then other times I'm like, well, if you've only got like a 2.5, 3 hour show, and so many film nominations, so many television nominations, yeah, it's kind of hard to pack everything in. So, anyways, and it is nice though too to see a comedy category here featured on a big show like this, and so it's nice to see actors like definitely the ones I'm going to name off here in a few minutes for Best Lead Actor. Comedy musical and for actress comedy musical, that they have a shot, that they really won't get at the Oscars. A lot of them don't. So, all right. For screenplay, I have Steve Jobs in first, Joy in second, Spotlight in third, Hateful Eight in fourth, and I'm putting in Bridge of Spies in fifth. I'm not seeing too many other people saying Bridge of Spies gets nominated here. Carol, The Martian, Brooklyn, I think are the three threats here to steal one of those spots, or maybe if Joy gets kicked out of that, which I think is probably the next most expendable one actually is Joy, even though I have it ranked second. That's mainly because I'm thinking maybe if it does in the end pull off a Best Comedy Musical win for Best Picture, Joy, over The Martian, which I don't have predicted right now, I could maybe see it screenplay taking along for the ride, but yeah, Steve Jobs, I think best of the films I've seen this year, definitely the best, if not one of the best screenplays of the year. Just splendid Aaron Sorkin dialogue, absolutely. All right, we're going to move on to supporting actress. Again, this is everybody, not a split between comedy and musical. Now, here's the thing: if you've been watching, and for the first time, I can actually say some people have been watching some of my videos. Thank you for watching, guys. Even people have been. This is a first, and if you did the comment in the other video, thank you for commenting. But somebody was asking me, when are you going to put up a video on this on Golden Globes? I'm like, first time for everything, I guess. I've never had a video requested before, more or less. Even though I said it was coming in the video. Anyways, that's still more or less a request. If you've been watching a couple of those, I've been saying over and over again, it's the mantra of this season so far, and that is supporting actress is, not in these exact words that I'm about to say, but it's kind of a wasp's nest, we have two actresses here that we're going to get to in a minute in lead actress drama that are campaigning for supporting actress nominations at the Oscars. However, and they were supporting actors this morning at SAG. Both of them got in, Vikander and Mara. We'll get to them in a minute. But here at the Golden Globes, they kind of revoked that, and they said, nope, you're lead. Despite protests, complaints, whatever, from the studio, from the actors themselves, whatever, they were denied, and they are put into lead. And now this leaves supporting actress with these five. Kate Winslet I have in here to win. Also, Jennifer Jason Leigh is strong. Rachel McAdams I have in here for Spotlight. I should name the films too. Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. Jennifer Jason Leigh, The Hateful Eight. Rachel McAdams, Spotlight. In fourth place, I'm putting Jane Fonda for Youth. And fifth place, Helen Mirren for Trumbo. Even before the two got bumped up to lead, I was still thinking, you know what? I'm thinking Helen Mirren gets in no matter what. Even though, yeah, it would have been, definitely, I think Jennifer Jason Leigh and Kate Winslet are very safe for getting Oscar nominations, no matter what. Because even if those two do end up lead, or if just one of them, that's only two. That's only one spot at tops. If and the way I'm thinking, for the moment, I'm still keeping them both supporting at the Oscars. But if one of them goes lead and the other one has to stay supporting, I'm definitely saying the Academy is going to go in favor of putting Mara in lead since she was previously nominated before. This will be Vikander's first time at bat if she gets nominated. And Mara, the last time she was nominated, it was for lead actress for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the David Fincher version. And if she does get bumped up to lead, then I do think she does get a slot. But I think if Vikander gets left in supporting here, where she's been campaigning and where the studio wants her at, she'll definitely get in. And on top of that, I think she'll wipe out Kate Winslet and potentially Jennifer Jason Leigh, unless we see a turnaround here. And I think Jason Leigh being left off of the SAG vote this morning kind of hurt a little bit because I've been hearing through people who have seen the movie, and I have not, and it hasn't. There's an embargo on it, so all the critics and people who have seen it can't really say in official written reviews or anything. They can say, just out of word out of mouth. But there's I guess there's some legal things here and there. They've been saying that the whole cast is great, but Jennifer Jason Leigh is the standout. And that if, to equate, people love in the last two Tarantino movies, me as well, in particular, the performance in both films by Christoph Waltz. He won Oscars both times. What do you know? And more or less for the first one, it was expected. In fact, it was probably etched in stone before the end of October that year. But in 2012, it was all over the place because you had Leo was in the same film, and he was also getting some candidacy and some potential there to get nominated. And then on top of that, you had a rat's nest. You had of other nominees. You had Robert De Niro in there. You had Philip Seymour Hoffman. You had Tommy Lee Jones. You had Alan Arkin. You had I'm trying to think who else was left off that list there, who didn't get nominated because it was those five guys as I recall. So anyway, so yeah, there was a whole bunch of people. And at one point, yeah, Leo was maybe going to sneak in and steal Christoph Waltz's spot, or vice versa, or yeah, it was quite a mess there. Another one was who was getting nominated to places was Javier Bardem for Skyfall. He got into, I believe, SAG and BAFTA, so that was a good run for him, even if it didn't end up getting nominated. Anyway, so. And from what I've been hearing, if there was a Christoph Waltz kind of that role, which is a fun role, but at the same time you have to take him seriously, because he does some serious things in both movies. He does some very serious things. In the case of Inglourious Basterds, it's definitely like the opening scene. Whereas in Django, it's again kind of the opening scene where he shoots the two horsemen and or the two slave traders there in the opening of the film. And in particular, of course, everybody thinks of the scene of him in the study room or whatever at the end, in one of his last scenes. Spoiler alert, where he's talking to DiCaprio, and he's kind of talking over the Alexandre Dumas little monologue he has there, which is excellent. I absolutely loved that part of the movie. So much that I felt like, okay, here's not to kind of get away from the point here a minute, but in that movie Django, the only problem I really had with it is once that scene starts and certain characters get killed off. Again, it's been out for 3 years. Go see it, people. It's a great movie. You'll love it if you're into the Tarantino thing, especially. Is that film had that scene which kept going, had so much energy and so much blood and guts and splattering all over. And there was even a great catchy song they started playing and stuff with like Jamie Foxx in it and stuff. It was awesome. I was like, all right, here we go. This is the last scene of the movie, and it's everything's been building to this scene, and then it kept going, and it had another half hour or so. And not to say that the very end of the film wasn't great, but it was kind of a thing of it felt like to me like, okay, they had a 2.5 hour movie, but they just felt like making it 2:45. That's what I felt, but. and it kind of affected how I saw the last bit of it. Even though, yes, I agree that last 15, 20 minutes or so is worth it in the end because what you see happen to the remaining characters is fabulous. But I just felt like if you condense that into that scene earlier in the study, which turns into the big bloodbath, then it would have I think it would have still been as effective, if not as fun too. Anyways, but now that I've completely lost track here, I've been hearing, yeah, that Jennifer Jason Leigh has that. There's scenes where she's serious, and there's other scenes where she's kind of having fun, you know. Anyway, so I think she's a definite strong second place here. And if Kate Winslet, if Steve Jobs doesn't play well to the Golden Globes, and if it just ends up with her and Fassbender getting nominated, and it misses out at picture, which I have predicted, and if the screenplay nomination doesn't come through, and it's just these two, then I think definitely Jason Leigh can take over if Hateful Eight, say, gets one of those slots for Best Picture drama here. Anyways, yes, I'm definitely thinking that these five are pretty safe. The only other contender in here that I think really stands a big chance is Kristen Stewart in Clouds of Sils Maria, which completely came back in the last week or so here. Once it won, she won at a couple of Critics Awards, or was the runner-up. And the real problem I've been watching a couple of videos here and there is I've been hearing one of the reasons maybe that she didn't get in this morning for SAG was that the DVD, the company or whatever who made the movie didn't send out any screeners at all to the film. So to anybody, to SAG, not to Golden Globes, not to Oscars yet. So they need to, and I did hear they're going to try to do it, but it's going to be a last ditch effort here. And the way it ends up, they might get the DVD like this, like maybe a few days before their ballots are due. So that could really bite them on the ass if they're waiting too long to do this and to pull the trigger. So with that being said, that's why I don't have her in. And I believe the ballots were in before she started winning these Critics Awards too. So I don't think they can quite jump on the bandwagon this last minute and get her nominated. So I have these five. I feel fairly confident with these five. Otherwise, yeah, the rest of them are going to be really, really far long shots. Then again, I was thinking the same thing, more or less, about like Michael Shannon, who got in this morning, or definitely Sarah Silverman this morning. Holy shit! Yeah, so strange things happen sometimes, so just keep that in mind. All right, moving on to supporting actor. We did have a bit of a shakeup this morning when Spotlight, the two candidates that most people, including myself, put in there to be nominated this morning at SAG were both left off, and that is Michael Keaton and Mark Ruffalo. And the point being of why they got left off was something I said earlier and forgot about, actually. And that was, I kind of said earlier, I said when Mark Ruffalo was starting to get big attention in the supporting race, once he was bumped down to supporting, he was lead at first, then they kind of wisely put him down in supporting. Because I think if he had been left in Best Actor, I think he would have been left off. But now I think he has a better chance, definitely, in supporting. The thing is, Keaton has the IOU from last year for losing Birdman and being the front runner from, I won't say from the word go in September, but because there was a point here with like Steve Carell or Benedict Cumberbatch. A couple other guys were kind of still, were on top of him, and then he pushed through and became the front runner pretty much from October on, and then stayed there until the moment that I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was Cate Blanchett. Whoever it was that announced at the Screen Actors Guild the winner for Best Actor was Eddie Redmayne and not Michael Keaton. Like literally until that second, everybody in the room, everybody on the web who follows this, almost everybody, was saying this is Keaton's to lose, and he lost it. Anyway, so I was thinking with that power, plus he's in a film which potentially could win Best Picture. I have it winning here at the Golden Globes for Best Picture Drama. Is a powerful combo, and yeah, why resist that? Put him in for to win. So definitely. Then the problem is, I was thinking that kind of takes care of that vote there for Spotlight, and the race, in as I've been saying in many videos, is this race for supporting actor is off the chain crowded, man. These five that I have going to get nominated, and about four or five others, maybe six or seven actually, are potentials, definitely. Um, yeah. So anyway, so the five I have getting in are Michael Keaton in Spotlight, Mark Rylance in Bridge of Spies, Idris Elba in Beasts of No Nation, Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight, and Sylvester Stallone in Creed. Now, again, the reason I wasn't putting in Ruffalo earlier was, okay, so if Keaton takes care of that Spotlight vote, they don't have to, if it's crowded, they don't have to put Ruffalo in there if they don't want to. And then I heard and saw through a couple of clips, and I kind of realized, okay, so if Keaton is the little more stoic performance, still good, and I liked him in the movie a lot, the real show-stopping, the scene with the actor and the character with the most emotional scenes, and the movie turns out to be Mark Ruffalo. There's a great scene toward the end of the movie, and it's probably most of the clips you'll see on in the TV spots and in the trailers and stuff of him is the scene where he kind of feels like it's time to print the story. But Keaton and a few other people are like, nope, nope, nope. We gotta wait. There's more stuff here we have to dig up. And he kind of gets in a yelling match with everybody and says, it's time, and we can't let this happen anymore and stuff. And it's a really great performance. I think of the performances in the movie, he maybe just because he does have the most emotion scene is he's one of the better ones in there, if not the best performance of the film. And so I was seeing that, and then I was like, well, I don't know. And then yeah, so I kind of had to hedge my bets and say, all right, fine, he'll get in, and I'm thinking maybe, yeah, they did maybe cross each other out this morning at SAG. Then again, look at the Year of American Hustle at SAG. What happened there? It was more or less one of the presumed frontrunners to not only be nominated but potentially to win that Best Ensemble Award. Because, I mean, you had Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, who was the other guy? Jeremy Renner. And that's an unbeatable cast. I mean, they're all superheroes. They've all played in superhero films. They're all, almost all of them were alumni of a previous project by David O. Russell. It was, you just couldn't deny them that win. So to kind of make up for that, and since they knew it was going to be an acting powerhouse otherwise, they said, okay, let's be fair and give some of those slots, like Christian Bale's and Amy Adams's and Bradley Cooper, to other people in the same category. Maybe that's exactly what happened with Spotlight this morning. And they thought, well, we love Michael Shannon, or we love Jacob Tremblay, new little breakthrough actor here. Kind of reminds us a bit of Haley Joel Osment back in Sixth Sense. Or who's the other guy they got in that I can't remember? Not Idris Elba, but shoot, who else got in this morning? God, I can't. Oh, Christian Bale. That's right, Christian Bale. They're kind of like, oh yeah, we like Christian Bale, and maybe it was a makeup for American Hustle. Who knows? So Rylance and Elba were pretty confident picks there too. So it was kind of like, all right, fine, and then yeah. So that being said, I'm thinking the Golden Globes will go more toward what we're thinking at the Oscars. So yeah, I'm leaving Tom Hardy off of this list here, but he's definitely a threat. Benicio del Toro and Sicario, I think, has a shot. Paul Dano for Love and Mercy, maybe. Jacob Tremblay and Michael Shannon are threats here. I believe Christian Bale is actually going to be in the lead category here for comedy musical, so he will not be a threat here in supporting actor. I could even see like a De Niro maybe making an appearance here, but yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be, again, that's like, how many, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 on top of the 5 that we have. So really about 11 people can get in tomorrow, more or less. But Oh boy, there's potential here in this race to definitely still shake things up, even though they were already pretty shaken up this morning. Yeah. So those are the five I got. Okay, we're gonna move on to the comedy races for acting in the leading roles. Starting with the ladies, I have Jennifer Lawrence in first for Joy, Amy Schumer in second for Trainwreck, Melissa McCarthy I'm putting in for Spy, Lily Tomlin for Grandma, and Meryl Streep for Ricky and the Flash. All right, having seen three, sorry, I haven't seen Joy yet. Having seen three of these films, I laughed a lot during Trainwreck. Very funny film, had some nice touches to it, which made it kind of stand out more than your average comedy. And it was more than just a silly comedy too, which I really liked. And on top of it, she's big performance at the Emmys this year, getting into several races there. And I mean, Amy Schumer might be one of the it girls of the year when it comes to the, when you're putting in your it persons of the year and all that. I'm putting in McCarthy mainly because Spy. Maybe this is just because of me personally, but I thought Spy was probably it's in my top 10 of the year so far list because it was so damn good. And for me, kind of unexpectedly so. Even though I was kind of chuckling and stuff at the commercials, I had no idea how funny it was until I sat down and saw it. And she was terrific in it. She showed the duality of her roles and how she can play that silly, the silly person, and then she can also play a serious silly person. It was a great performance. So kind of going with my heart instead of my head here. With that, Lily Tomlin I have in there, and Meryl Streep, kind of the two elderly versus the three younger for Amy and Jennifer and Melissa. Lily Tomlin for Grandma, even though she's fallen off my predictions for Best Actress, I'm still putting her in here because and we didn't see her this morning at SAG actually, as I recall from the TV awards for Frankie and Jackie or however I can't remember what that show's called. Frankie Muniz, for all I know. That's a random one. I know it's something in Frankie or something, but I haven't seen it, so I don't care. I'm thinking again she has a shot to get in tomorrow, so maybe the double nomination happens there. Same with Idris Elba, same with Mark Rylance potentially. So I'll put that in. And then Meryl Streep, mainly because she's Meryl freaking Streep. She gets into all these races more or less. Well, she didn't show up at SAG this morning, but yeah, I think this is going to be one year where we can kind of take a breath and say, okay, Meryl, time out. Put somebody else in. But I still think Ricky and the Flash, even though it didn't do very well at the box office, even though I was not a big fan of it, I'm still kind of putting it in because I'm really thinking Maggie Smith, who's really probably one of the only other people who can get into this race here. With the exception maybe of Sandra Bullock. Bullock, does well sometimes in the Golden Globes. Anne Hathaway is possible, but I'm not gonna predict it yet. The reason I don't have Maggie Smith in here is because I think if she was gonna get nominated anywhere in any of these precursor awards, it was going to be at SAG, and she missed SAG. I didn't predict her at SAG, but I said if she was going to get it anywhere, it was going to be SAG, and she missed. I don't know why the Golden Globes would go out on a limb and put her in. And as far as I know, it's not playing extremely well. I know it's got great critics ratings, and I'm sure she's fantastic in it. But I just don't hear very much buzz for it anywhere. So I'm going to have to say no to Dame Maggie Smith, and say nope. These five are who I'm going with. Okay, moving over to the dudes here for comedy leading role. Let's see, I have Matt Damon in here for the lead for Martian. I think he can cakewalk this because I think he's the only one of these five who's going to get into Best Actor at the Oscars too. Steve Carell in second for The Big Short. I'm putting in Bill Hader for Trainwreck in third. Bradley Cooper I have there in fourth for The Burnt, and Robert De Niro in fifth for The Intern. I've seen three of these, so I can definitely tell you Matt Damon is clear ahead for this race because, like I said, not only is he going to be in a film that's potentially a Best Picture spoiler, On top of that, he's good in the movie. I mean, he kind of more or less just plays himself, but the Globes kind of love that sometimes. And on top of that, look at the competition. What competition exactly? Even though I haven't seen the film, I've heard Steve Carell is one of the standouts in Big Short. I guess maybe Christian Bale's another one since he's getting into supporting actor for SAG. But and then Bill Hader, I really enjoyed in Trainwreck. I did see Burnt. While I didn't particularly hate the film, I can't say I loved it either. It was kind of your been there, done that average biopic. At the same time, Bradley Cooper has he's really been a favorite lately. I mean, even though they missed him last year for American Sniper here at the Globes, American Hustle he was here, Silver Linings Playbook he was here. I think yeah, those are it. But yeah, I'm thinking he'll pull one out, but it'll be close definitely. And then De Niro I have in there for the intern, mainly because the competition's pretty weak. Uh, I have Christian Bale. I'm not going to totally say no to. Then again, if he, as I know, and as far as again, as far as I know, he's not going lead at the Oscars. He's going for supporting, and maybe again with the same with supporting actress with Vikander and Mara, we could have some confusion there, and maybe they'll write him in for lead come Oscar time. Maybe they'll write him in for supporting. Who knows? So yeah. But then again, I do think this is one where they pretty confidently said he's lead. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility. I'm not going to totally die of shock when his name gets called tomorrow instead of say his pal Bradley Cooper or De Niro, who he's actually worked with both of them in the same movie. What do you know? Maybe Al Pacino for Danny Collins potentially, but then again, I have not heard any buzz on that film after until I think even before the film opened, I think all the buzz on it died. I think the only other possibility here is a slight shot for maybe Bill Murray in Rock the Casbah, one of the biggest box office bombs of the year, because they do love them some Bill Murray. I believe he got a double nod last year for St. Vincent, and what was the one? The one with Richard Jenkins that won big at the Emmys. I can't remember what it's called, but it was a TV movie or it was a miniseries or something like that. But Oliver Kidridge, is that it? I think that's right. Yeah, he was in that, and I believe he won the Globe, or no, sorry, not the Globe. I believe he won the Emmy, but I can't recall exactly. Yeah, I mean, he got nominated for that, even though I heard it wasn't way too of a stretch of a performance. That being said, if the Globes love Murray enough, they'll put him in, but I don't see it happening. All the buzz on it completely died, and the box office bomb will stink to high heaven and prevent him from winning, I think, or even getting nominated for that case. Okay, moving on to the leading ladies for drama. I have Kate Blanchett in first for Carol. Again, I'm kind of in between putting Brie Larson in first for Room. I have her in second. I have Rooney Mara in third for Carol, Saoirse Ronan in fourth place for Brooklyn, and Alicia Vikander I have getting in there for The Danish Girl. These five, again, I'm feeling pretty confident in these five. Then again, Charlotte Rampling, Carey Mulligan are both British ladies, and the Globes sometimes go for the British ladies. Yeah, I definitely don't think Helen Mirren or Sarah Silverman, who surprised us and shocked us all this morning, I don't know if we'll see them get in. Probably not. I think these five are pretty safe bets for now, but I could go to my grave saying that. So, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, let's go on to the fellas here for leading actor drama. I'm feeling a lot more confident in these five, and that is Leo DiCaprio for The Revenant in first, Michael Fassbender for second in Steve Jobs, Eddie Redmayne in third for The Danish Girl, Johnny Depp in fourth for Black Mass, Tom Hanks in fifth place for Bridge of Spies. I feel very confident in these five. There is maybe some potential here for like a Will Smith for Concussion to get in, Michael Caine maybe for Youth. He did get in The Quiet American. I said The Good American earlier for one of his nominations in a separate video. The Quiet American is the proper title. I don't know. I think, yeah, we'll have to see on that one. And then Bryan Cranston for Trumbo. it's a tight race. He's going to have to really, really overtake Tom Hanks to get that slot here. On top of, well, at SAG, though, he had to get over Matt Damon, which he did in The Martian. And he had the support of lots and lots of TV actors who, being on Breaking Bad, Malcolm in the Middle for so many years. I mean, they were, as I recall, right in a row, too. So it was like 6 or 7, however many seasons Malcolm in the Middle, and then 5 or 6 or 7 years, however long it was on Breaking Bad. I mean, that's a big stretch there to be a very popular and well respected, and at the end praised TV actor. So I definitely think that's why he got in it for Trumbo this morning. That being said, Hollywood Foreign Press is decided by less than 100 people, and they're press people. They're not actors. They're not directors. They're press people. So I'm thinking, even though Trumbo earlier was in the comedy race, and I think if they had stayed in comedy, and if I don't know how they got switched over, I don't know if it was an overruling thing. They were going comedy from the studio, and the Globe said, "Nope, you're going drama." Or if they made a switch and said, maybe our luck's better at drama. No, it's not. No, it's not. I think definitely one of the keys, if Trumbo was going to get a Best Picture nomination here at Globes, it would have to get Bryan Cranston in. And I don't see that happening right now. I think these 5, Hanks usually does very well here at the Globes. Yeah, I don't see like he even got in. Yeah, like Charlie Wilson's War. I think what else? Obviously, Captain Phillips from a couple of years ago, Castaway among many others. So he's popular here, and I'm thinking he gets one of those slots. Okay, director. I have kind of a pick that not very many people are going with right now for the win here. That's Alejandro Iñárritu for The Revenant. I'm thinking especially last year after the Birdman lost Best Picture Comedy to Grand Budapest Hotel here. And he also lost Best Director to Linklater for Boyhood. I was going with Iñárritu to win for Birdman, mainly not because I was predicting he was going to win the Oscar, which I wasn't, because I had Linklater in there until DGA happened. Babel won here, one of his previous films in, what year was that? 2006, I believe? Yeah, 2006, same year as The Departed. And it won here at the Globe, but he lost the Director's Award to whoever it was. It probably was, I think, as I recall, it was Scorsese. Anyways, so I think that he's got an IOU for that for last year for Birdman. And then on top of that, Birdman not only lost Director, but it also won Picture here at Globes, and it went on to win Picture at the Oscars. But again, last year at the Globes. Yeah, that's 2 IOUs. I have him winning. I'm also thinking The Revenant is a definite threat for picture drama, but I'm not predicting it at the moment. Ridley Scott I have in second for The Martian. I do have him winning at the Oscars, but I definitely think he's a threat here, and especially if The Martian's going to win the comedy race, which I have it doing. So, yeah. Tom McCarthy in third for Spotlight, David O. Russell in fourth for Joy, and I am putting in Steven Spielberg for Bridge of Spies. I'm thinking we have some potential here for like a Steve Jobs director who is Danny Boyle to get in. Tarantino if The Hateful Eight scores really well. Todd Haynes for Carol if Carol does a little better than we're thinking. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at those 3. I think are definitely threats here, but and they would have to kick off Russell and they would have to kick off Spielberg. I think 2 of them would to get in, and I'm thinking McCarthy, Scott, Iñárritu, forget about it if they're not nominated. Yeah, I think they're definitely in there. All right, now to our Best Picture comedy musical predictions here. I'm putting The Martian in first, Joy in second, Trainwreck in third, The Big Short in fourth, and Spy in fifth. Grandma and what's the other one? The Intern, I think, are probably 2 of the only other ones I can get in here. Yeah, again, I'm kind of going heart over head with this for putting Spy in, but I'm thinking, Grandma, even though it did okay at the box office, got about $7 million off of a very small budget. Even though Lily Tomlin's getting in, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, I'm thinking Lily Tomlin's going to be the only vote. That being said, I'm definitely, it would make sense because it made money. Lily Tomlin may actually win if she conquers over Jennifer Lawrence, which could happen. Could happen. But I'm thinking, especially these five or the four of them, The Big Short, Trainwreck, Joy, Martian, are real candidates here. I think The Big Short maybe has about as equal a shot as Trainwreck does for me, but probably the Screen Actors Guild for Best Ensemble helps that out. But yeah, I'm thinking here these are the five I'm going with. Spy could get knocked out, and I wouldn't be way too surprised. But other than that, it's those six that are really vying for the spots. Then we go over to drama picture, and we have about eight. I'm going to say 8 films that have potential to get slots, and those are the 5 I'm predicting are Spotlight, The Revenant, Bridge of Spies, Carol, and Brooklyn to get in. Brooklyn was kind of a change I made just a few days ago. Actually, I was previously predicting Steve Jobs, which I definitely think has a shot of getting in, especially if like Danny Boyle gets in, or if it pulls off another nomination. Say if it gets one of its supporting actors in out of nowhere, which if it is, definitely go Jeff Daniels. I thought he was fabulous in the movie. The Danish Girl, I've heard, has gotten some votes, which is potential, definitely. Um, and then The Hateful Eight I have getting in as well. Or, has the potential to get in, I'm sorry. Because they do prefer sometimes some Tarantino films. Like Glorious Bastards was a nominee here, I believe. I can't remember if it was comedy or musical, it doesn't matter. Django was a big nominee in 2012. Picture, director, screenplay, 2 of its supporting actors in. Yeah, they went all out for that one. So, and sometimes we have a tie here, which could result in a 6th nominee. And we saw that this morning on the comedy side for Best Ensemble in a Comedy Series at TV, at SAG this morning. I'm thinking if we're going to have a tie here to result in 6 nominees, which the last time that happened was Django Unchained that year for a Tarantino film, Hateful Eight, I think, or I think Hateful Eight would have to kick out Brooklyn, and then like a Steve Jobs or a Danish Girl would have to take another spot there too. Or maybe Carol gets knocked out, or maybe Bridge of Spies isn't quite as strong as we thought it is, or as we think it is. Whatever the correct grammar on that is, doesn't matter. Yeah, I think definitely since Fox is probably going to put a lot of their efforts into probably getting either Iñárritu or Scott the picture win, and the Martian they're going to be a big pusher on for to win comedy. I think that leaves Spotlight pretty cakewalky here to win this one. It's the favorite to win Best Picture right now, and I think when the Globes want to line up with Oscars, they'll do it. 12 Years a Slave from a couple of years ago. They thought Boyhood was the winner last year, so they went with that, even though it was more or less unexpected of them. I mean, easily the winner, I think, last year could have been something like, what else was up? What else was up last year? Crap, I've already forgotten. Imitation Game was up there, and Selma. Definitely Imitation Game and Selma were the two I was more or less thinking, unless Boyhood takes director, then these two have a shot of overtaking it for Best Picture, even though I did predict Boyhood and it did win. Yeah, those two were definite threats. This year I'm thinking Spotlight has it all to itself. Plus it has the pedigree of being a film that more or less Golden Globes would gravitate to. It's about press people. Who votes on these awards? The Hollywood Foreign Press. Exactly. Case closed. I think The Revenant in second, mainly because, if it does pull off that director win, we could see it win drama, too. The thing is, it's going to have to be because of that IOU that Birdman didn't win last year either. And that was, again, in a separate comedy, in a separate category than Boyhood was in comedy. So I think those three. I don't think Trumbo much. It's possible, but no. I'm thinking Room could be an outside shot. I don't think Beasts of No Nation or Straight Outta Compton. No. I think those were Screen Actors Guild surprises, and I think that's where they'll stay unless we do see a big push here at the end for Straight Outta Compton. Then I think Foreign Press would have to be one of them here that does it, and I think PGA, and I think if it gets, especially if it gets PGA, then I'm definitely going to start very much considering it for Best Picture. But if it gets in here, then I'll start to, I'll be less like shaking my head, and I'll be more like potentially. It'll have to get in here though for me to get to that point as far as if I think it'll get nominated. But I think the PGA would be big. Producers Guild Award, if you don't know what I mean. Okay, I think we've covered everything here. We kind of went off on some tangents, which is kind of fun sometimes. All right, looking at what time is, and I'm gonna the same thing that I did this morning, which surprisingly got some views. I was usually I'm the only one watching these videos, but it's some other people watched, and thank you by the way if you're watching these, and if you're especially if and I hope this is the case. There's some people that that are just watching me now for the first time since this morning or in the last few days. That I've been doing all these like Critics Awards reactions and stuff that that you're new viewers, some new subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you. I'll be doing these live again. I won't be broadcasting them on YouTube live. I'll do a video of it live here, shoot it, and then if there's something that goes wrong, I'll edit it out and stuff so I can put that on, and then it'll be up probably an hour or so after we get our nominations, give or take. Again, depending on because what I'll do if you didn't see my SAG video this morning, what I did was I watched them give us the nominees live, and then I said, okay, so this is these are my immediate thoughts on it, and then we kind of that was it. I'll do the same thing here with Globes tomorrow. It looks like 8:15 Eastern is the time there, so yep, I'll set my alarm, get up, and watch them live. Though I believe they will be streamed online here, so that's where I will catch them. And it looks like we'll have Angela. Okay, if I'm reading this correctly, and if they're putting this up correctly, unless we have a last-minute change here, we will have Angela Bassett, American Ferrera, Chloe Moretz, and Dennis Quaid giving us the nominations tomorrow. So yeah. That's about all I've got to say on that. Golden Globes nominations are tomorrow. Hopefully they're a little more predictable, and I'm right on more of these tomorrow. Then again, so stuff like Sarah Silverman happens, so we'll see. Till next time.